And artists always say to me, there's no money in royalties in South Africa. And I'm like, you can look at my bank account and I promise you, there is money.
The Media Maniacs, designed different.
What's up, people? It's your boy T-Reps bringing you another Kas'lam live exclusive buffet here. Back with a new format of the new show. It's titled the Kas'lam Live. I got two new co-hosts. I got the Tiger Story on my right, and I got Ubobo M on my left. And vandaag I got a very special guest buffet to one of the Song of the Year winners, multi-platinum selling artist. She dropped an EP last year. She's got a new EP coming through. Holly Rey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, hey?
Good.
Last time I caught up with you, it was lockdown, and
Yes.
we were on Insta Live talking basically about your entire journey in the music industry. So I'm not gonna go deep in it. But since this is a Kas'lam TV, I always gotta do this one. I mean, you gotta tell me which Kasi you from and how it was like going up a Kas'lam.
So I'm originally from Durban.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I'm from Ekasi, I'm from Westville, which is like as suburban as it gets. Like it doesn't get more suburban than that.
Yeah.
But I grew up hanging out a lot in sort of Umlazi. I think I went to like Max my first time when I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
So I grew up going to like Umlazi, Max, Iadeni a lot as a young kid, as a teenager, my varsity days. Recording in studios in Umlazi. So definitely I'd say if I had to choose a Kasi that I relate to the most, it would be Umlazi. And I always feel so comfortable. Like people always go, aren't you scared? I'm like, no. Like I'm more scared walking in town, you know, than I am walking like Ekasi. So yeah, I'd definitely say like Umlazi is where I would get my love of house music and all of that from.
Yeah. I mean, this is a new format to the show, right? So I got my co-host will just every now and then dig into the bucket. We got some random questions coming through from
that makes me so scared.
some friends.
I thought you weren't scared.
Goddamn questions.
Not scared of Ayadini, but you.
I'm scared of your questions. Yeah, exactly.
But firstly, let's dig into the new song. I mean, you just dropped to Spend My Time.
Yes.
Tell us more about the creative process of the song, and I mean, you working with the EP format again.
Yes.
Why the EP format instead of an album?
So I just think at the moment, especially with COVID, people are so hungry for content all the time. Like we're seeing albums are getting released, they're being listened to for a week and then they're dying down and the next thing is being released. And we like content doesn't really have longevity at the moment. We're seeing like people are consuming things so quickly.
Yeah.
So for me, I would rather release like little bits of music more often and feed people's hunger and desire for my music than release an album. People listen to like 2 tracks that last and the rest of it's like stale. And I pour a year or whatever into working on that and no one's listening to it.
Yeah.
So I think also like globally the trend is towards EPs because of the same reason, like that fast consumption of content. So I think that's what this EP is about. It's about where I'm at right now with my music, what I'm feeding now, and then a few months later, I might make something else that takes me on another musical journey, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I've decided to release the EP, and the new single is called "Spend My Time."
Yeah.
And it was produced by Mr. Lou and MSK. They are like legends in the house music scene. Like anyone who's a house music lover will know Mr. Lou and MSK. They produce for Professor, they produce for Heavy K. They just like they've done like a lot for Kalawa Jasmine back in the day when house music was like at its peak.
Yeah.
So it was great to work with them and to just learn from them and just have a really awesome collaborative experience.
Yes.
Would you say musicians are or musicians and record labels, like they're losing money right now and they're like trying to maybe stabilize the ship, or what's happening?
I think everyone's losing money. Like it doesn't matter what industry it is, we're all losing money. Like globally, every single industry is losing money. I think unfortunately the entertainment industry has taken a really big knock in terms of performances. People aren't we're not performing, and that's honestly our biggest source of income as artists, second to like big endorsement deals or whatever. And then streaming numbers dropped significantly. Everyone expected streaming numbers to go up, but people canceled their subscriptions because they just couldn't afford it. I got my numbers from like the lockdown period, and my distributor sent me an email to say, look, don't get a shock when you see the numbers. Everyone like dropped. It dropped significantly when lockdown started, because people were like, oh my gosh, I can't afford that 69 rand a month. I can't, so many people just canceled their subscriptions for Spotify, iTunes, whatever it is. So downloads dropped significantly. And we're starting to see that loss of income now as, those reports come out. So definitely we've all, we're struggling through this time, but I think what's been interesting is this COVID time has really separated the innovative from the traditional. I think, and that's what we've seen. And I think we're seeing artists who are innovative and able to be diverse and change things up and find new approaches to things thriving, and artists who take a really traditional approach to things, unfortunately not doing so well. And I think it's going to be like a change that moves forward permanently. Unfortunately, we're going to have to adapt to the new normal. It's not going to change anytime soon. We just have to be more innovative. We have to start coming up with new ideas. And not just in the music industry, like we're seeing the rise of the entrepreneur, especially in South Africa, where like there aren't enough jobs. Entrepreneurial spirit is like where it's at, same as artists, I think.
And I mean, for you own your own record label, but independently. So would you say it hit you harder than it would hit, let's say, Universal Music, in terms of how the lockdown is structured and how it has changed the game?
For sure. I mean, Universal Music is a huge corporation who has international backing. It's the same as like a spaza shop's going to get hit harder than a spa. Same thing. But at the end of the day, the guy who owns a spaza shop owns everything. He owns all the profits, so the income that he gets is higher. So definitely, I'd say it hit me harder, but I had to be innovative in this time. I had to come up with new ways to make money, and I had to really be a businesswoman, I'd say. And that's, I think, how I've survived and thrived during this time, is kind of shifting that gear from being an artist and just want to be creative and just wanting to be in the studio all the time, to being a businesswoman, actually capitalizing on the situation that we find ourselves in.
Maphorisa and Kabza currently have a project together with Trezor, which I feel like it's a very interesting concept. Number one, would you consider that type of format to stay innovative? And number two, which artist or producer would you collab with?
That's so interesting. I think when you find magic in collaborating with someone, I don't think there's any harm in keeping that magic going. So I think often we think like, oh, they've done a collaboration already, like we've heard the song. But I think often like artists find the sweet spot in working together, and then they don't capitalize on it enough. We see it a lot happening in America, where you see like the same artists working together, whether it be like a Justin Bieber and a Drake, whoever it is, they're doing collaborations together all the time, because they find that magic and it works. They make beautiful music together. So I think if you find that, why not capitalize on it? I think a whole album, that's a lot. But I think we'll see. We'll see how South Africans respond to it. I think I would try it out. But definitely with a producer, I'd say, or maybe I'd collaborate with like a South African producer, like a Dr. Duda, maybe a Demogul, or even like Mr. Loon MSK. I've worked so well with them. I think I would work on a whole project with them. So for sure, I think I'd try it out. If I was feeling.
I think where it gets tricky is where, like, maybe we have to discuss financials. Maybe the other guy is bigger or smaller. Then it becomes like tricky. It's okay. How are we gonna split the?
Also, because of like ownership, like who then owns the song?
Who owns the songs?
I think
Maybe
so
record labels.
I don't know how that would work. I don't know how they've structured it. It would be quite interesting to dive into that. I know, like with me and the way my record label set up is like paperwork always comes first. I'm very like anally retentive about that. A song won't be sent for mix and mastering until the split sheets are signed. I don't play like that. My manager doesn't either. Just because it just gets so messy, and it doesn't need to be messy. And also just like being fair. I think a lot of artists aren't fair in terms of royalties, and So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those negotiations play out in terms of like an entire project together. And it's not like an artist single and that person owns it. And yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
Interesting, you speak of royalties now. For someone who's always hearing this term royalties, a music fan, but doesn't really know what we're talking about. Now, you got a song right now out with 2 producers.
Yes.
Like, what is the process in splitting the royalties? What royalties are there? Where do they come from? Where does the money come from? For someone who's completely clueless.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still trying to get on top of this royalty thing, and it's quite hard to understand because you have so many different types of royalties. You have publishing royalties, which is the people who make the song. So the producers who produce the beats and the person who writes the song. So that 100% is divided 50-50 into 50% to the person who writes the lyrics and the music and 50% to the person who composes. And it's a little bit like more intricate because then you have publishers who then take a percentage, and so that 100% isn't the 100%, it's 100% that's left over after everyone's taken their split. So that those would be your like your publishing composer royalties. You then have mechanical royalties, which are who owns the song. And then you have performance royalties, who performs on the song. So I, as a composer, get a writer's royalty, but then I'm the singer, so I get a performance royalty as well. Then it's like who owns the masters. So for me, I compose, so I get the composer royalty. I'm the artist, I get the performer royalty, and then I have my own record label, so I get the master royalty as well.
Oh, so that's why you gotta own your thing.
That's why you gotta own your stuff. I don't think artists always say to me there's no money in royalties in South Africa, and I'm like, you can look at my bank account and I promise you there is money.
Let's look at her bank account.
But there is money if you're a business person and you take it seriously. Why are you putting that in front of me?
No, because I want Bobo to do the honor of the first question. Yeah.
As long as like nice questions.
The first one.
These things scare me because it's always like weird questions.
It's not weird. There's nothing weird.
Like,
well, yeah, people are weird.
are these questions from like
hey, hope
fans?
you didn't put all of the questions there. There are some.
Okay,
weird.
I've got an interesting one.
Oh no. Can I just tell you one thing about interesting? I was taught that if you have nothing good or bad to say about something, you just
Keep
say
quiet.
interesting. No, you just say interesting. So if someone says like, how do I look?
Like,
And you don't want to say you look bad, you don't want to say you look good, you say
Interesting.
interesting.
That's a good one. I'm gonna start using it. The one I have here says, why do you never trend?
Why do I never trend?
Yeah, why
on Twitter,
yeah, why do you think you never trend on Twitter?
for a big artist like
on
yourself.
Twitter, like, do
Like,
you
are
are you active on Twitter? Do you?
Is it on purpose
it on
or?
I think it
so-
is on purpose.
Mm.
I don't think I make a conscious effort not to trend, but I don't make a conscious effort to trend.
Yeah.
I just think that Twitter is a great tool. It's a great, I'd say, like a focus group. It's a great place. But I also find it incredibly toxic.
Yes,
And
true.
I just don't believe in attracting toxic energy into my life. I also don't engage in toxic activities. The thing is, like, even when you do something good and you start, I mean, my songs have trained it, like, on days when I've released stuff, they've trained it and people have talked about it, but I've never trained it for, like, anything
Personal
other than
stuff.
my music.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with that. Like, I don't
Did
make
you trend
music.
the year you won song
Record
of the
of the year.
I did,
of the year?
yeah.
'Cause there
And it was
some
quite
drama there.
negative,
Yeah.
And I didn't really read the tweets because I didn't feel like I
there
wanted
was
to
drama that
allow
year, I
that
remember.
into
What was the
my
drama?
into my space.
I think the drama wasn't the Nasty C drama for, I don't know, like people paying, I don't know.
No, that wasn't my year.
Oh, that wasn't your
Uh-uh.
yeah.
A lot of people did say, like, did Holly Rey buy the song, and there were a lot of questions like that on Twitter, and I honestly didn't. I'm an independent artist. I don't have money
Money
in that
to
pocket
buy
to
it.
buy
No,
the song.
no.
Like,
Yeah.
if we're being honest, like, if you want to go look at who's buying awards, please go look
To
at
the-
pages, not
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Like, I am an indie artist. Like,
And
there's
you can
no
use that
way.
money for something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, like, songs are great and accolades are great, but there's no reason I'm going to spend my own money on buying one. Like, it's not worth
Doesn't
that.
make
It's not
sense,
worth
eh?
that much, you know?
All you need is one summer, really. And then
Exactly. I'm a
just
song
move
winning
on.
artist. That's under my name now. I'm done. Like, I'm good to go. But I think, like, for me, it was just like, the negativity. Like a lot of people were like, well, we don't know her, so why is she winning? I'm like, yeah, but you know the song.
You know the song.
I didn't win because of me. I won because the song was the biggest song in South Africa.
Yeah, at the time.
In that category, once everyone, like, so they did the top 20 and it's based on radio play, right?
Yeah.
So they did the top 20 and then they got nailed down to top 10. My song was at the top of that. It was the most played song in that category on radio.
Yeah, true.
Yes, I was the most unknown artist. I was the only solo female artist in the category. I was the only independent artist in the category. So yeah, I think it was very shocking, and to a lot of people in the industry. And even after the Sama, I remember I went to the after party and it was like just the worst experience of my life, because I was so excited to be the Sama, but everyone was so like, first of all, they didn't let me into the VIP.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't want to let me into the VIP.
And
Because
where
they
was
said I
Nemo?
don't have...
'Cause
I
No,
never
Clebo
would've-
was...
It was my plug the last time around.
No, Clebo was there and he did the red carpet with me and everything. But then it was the party. Everyone goes. It's like business is over.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was going and the security didn't want to let me into the winner's circle
Wow.
thing. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I've literally just won the biggest award of the night. And they were like, no, you don't have the right accreditation. You don't have this. You don't have that.
Yeah.
And I just felt so like, and like artists came up to me. There were like one or two artists that came up to me and just said such nasty, you know, those comments
Just
that like
expose
they
them.
wrap an
Let's-
insult in a compliment.
Oh, yeah. Those underhanded ones.
One of those, like two or three artists, and I was just like, I don't really want to be here. I went to sleep.
Yeah.
I went to sleep after I won the Summer because I was just like, oh. And that's why I think I don't train, because I'm not interested.
Yeah.
In that, I'm interested in making music, performing music. Like that's what I'm passionate
And
about.
I would say you're not egotistic, because you know, like what you said right now, you can put on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you know that my
Yeah,
record
you
was
put
the
a-
number one? This and that, and then people will be like, I think you.
I mean, I was the first woman in 20 years to win the award.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
is what you should be posting on Twitter. That's how you
That's
trend.
what I've been
I was the
talking
first
about, but
woman in-
I don't want to like now have beef with. Like, Then
Yeah.
it detracts from the positive things you're doing, and now you suddenly like the connotations around you are negative.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that. Also, like a lot of my fans are young kids.
Oh yeah.
So what kind of example am I setting if I'm like brawling with people on Twitter? Like, I'm a whole woman. Like I'm not a child. Like I don't need to be fighting with people.
It's my turn.
We've been kicked out of
Before you get
an
into your
after party
question.
before.
Oh no! I didn't get kicked out. I just like I wasn't feeling the vibes.
Yeah. When we were kicked out.
Oh yeah, we
What
were
did you
once
guys do?
kicked out.
Yeah, we were once kicked out.
We were covering the summers. I think it was a couple of years ago. Right?
Yeah.
And we were promised red carpet, VIP as well.
Yeah.
As soon as the summers shut down, they're like, media, no
No.
VIP.
Anymore.
Was it
Yeah,
the
they-
same summers?
I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the
It
same
wasn't the
summers.
same
Wasn't
summers.
the same
Yeah.
summers. So fortunately for us, we knew Nebo.
Yeah, never saves all of that. Can I just tell you, at the Summers red carpet, that was like my first. I'd done red carpets, but my first like intense red carpet like that. I was like a deer in the headlights the whole time. I was just like, I don't know where to go. They was literally pulling me. Okay, next time,
Yeah, and there's
next
plenty
one,
of
and I was just
chillers.
like, I didn't know where to go, what to do. It was like a mess, but he like saved me, really pulled me through. I don't think I would have made it to the end of that red carpet. I would have just started crying. Like it was so intense.
Wow.
They're like, hurry, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's too much going on. My anxiety.
Yeah, the red carpet is hectic, and a lot of people don't get to see the other side.
Yo.
Yeah, they only see
They see the-
it's a
yeah.
war.
Okay.
Yeah, it's war. We were fighting also. We were there.
Crazy, crazy.
And for those who keep hearing the word Nebo and like, who's this Nebo? Nebo is one of the best PRs in the game. He's the owner of Charlie Communications. So if you're not doing your PR with Nebo, I don't know what you're doing, but you play games.
Oh, guys.
So I'm doing something right.
No, you do.
I'm doing something right. Okay.
I mean, going back to the music, Spend My Time as the
Yes.
EP. What can we expect?
So Spend My Time is the first single off of the EP, and I haven't dropped the title of the EP as yet.
Okay.
I'm just keeping that as like a small Nyana surprise, just in my back pocket.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a 5-track EP. I've worked with obviously Mr. Loon MSK on the first single. I worked with my sort of in-house producer Murphy from Zimbabwe. He's produced 2 tracks. I worked with DJ Mshega on a track. I mean, he's just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the track that we've done is like a bit of an Afro tech crossover, which I'm really excited about. So just playing in that space a little bit. And then I think my most exciting production on the EP, not because it's necessarily like my favorite song. But my DJ Spamanda produced his first track for me. So like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, it was 8 years ago, Spamanda DM'd me on Twitter and said he really wanted to study production. So I sent him to production school.
Yeah.
I paid for him to go to production school, studied for a year, and then when he came out, he started just following us and becoming my DJ slowly. And now 8 years later, he's produced his first track. He's been coming to studio every with me, learning from everyone, all the different producers I've worked with, from Prince KV to Ganya, and he always just taking in, and now he's produced his first track. So for me, it's I think the most sentimental, special track for me, because we've come full circle, and just investing in people just can be a really special thing, especially when you see the product, and now he actually has a song on my next project.
No, shout out to you. Take a story, please.
Oh, okay, it's
Do
my
the
turn.
honors.
Thank you. Okay, let's see.
I hope we get a crazy one, man.
What do you mean a crazy?
Crazy ones.
People ask me the
Where's
weirdest
it
question.
always the okay? So, your top 5 SA musicians. It's not crazy.
Well, that's fine. Of all time, or just now, modern day. All time. All time is going to be hard. All time is going to be really difficult.
2 all time and then 3 now.
It doesn't have to be in order. Just fine.
No order.
So Brenda Fassie, and that's why Winning the Summer was so iconic for me, because she's one of my favorite artists of all time. I would say, okay, who's another old artist? I'd say I love the Mahatila Queens as well. Okay. Just because just how iconic they are, how they put the Tonga music on the map. I think that's really special. Without, they're not just following trends; they're putting a whole genre on the map without trying to just be trending. Then local South African artists. I think Mikasa are just iconic. And I've always looked up to them. I think the reason I love them is as a young white girl who loved house music, I didn't think I could make house music. I thought that I'd be stigmatized, stereotyped, people would think I'm culturally appropriating, but I just loved house music, the only music I listened to. So when I saw Mikasa coming out and Jay something and showing that it doesn't matter where you come from, you can make the music you want to make, no matter your background. I think that's why they're so iconic to me, and I love their music. Who else? I think Strava's iconic.
Definitely.
And I think he's going to be in 50 years or whatever, he's going to be one of our greatest South African legends.
Possibly.
And then I think Shoma Josie, just because of how she's put us on the map, our modern music on the map as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting.
No rappers.
No rappers. I would have thought you were gonna mention Tamara Day, because she was the first crossover artist.
Yes. So the thing with a lot of people compare me to Tamara Day often, and the thing with Tamara Day is I didn't even know Tamara Day made house music until I got into the house music scene. Yeah. Because when I was growing up, Tamara Day was making rock music. She was in that, what was the band called? Flash Republic.
Yeah. She in Flash Republic.
She was the lead singer of Flash Republic. So when I was coming up...
Was it a rock band? Flash Republic wasn't a rock band.
It was a rock pop.
Oh, yeah, it was a pop band.
Yeah, but they had those rock elements in it, So when I was coming up and I was a teenager, that's what where Tamara Day was. So for me, I always saw her as that. I didn't know she made house music until I got into the city. Everyone was like, "Oh, you like Tamara Day?" I was like, "Yes, Tamara Day makes pop music." Yeah. And then I looked at the sort of BOP stuff, and I got into that and I listened to it. And I was like, "Wow, this is so dope." So I wouldn't say I drew inspiration from her coming into music, because I only kind of found out about that side of her when I was in the scene. Yeah.
And the lockdown, pushed artists, musicians specifically, to be innovative and to dabble in different things. You had to try a few things because you had time now. You're not performing, you're no longer making music that much. So Cooking with the Rays.
Yay!
How did that come about?
So Baking with the Rays, I literally, so those of you who don't know, I have a little sister who's the cutest little thing in the world. She's just turned 8. She is just the biggest bundle of joy, and we were so bored. So obviously went back to Durban for lockdown because I wasn't going to be stuck in Joburg, the city of sin, by myself.
Yeah.
So like however long. Joburg is the city of sin. Come on.
I thought Durban was the city of
No,
sin.
Joburg.
The
city of sin.
Durban. The city of chili or something.
Yeah, the city of spice. So yeah, I spent a lot of time with my family, and we were just baking for fun. And I just made a video of us baking and posted it up because I just thought it was like cute and cool. And everyone loved it. They're like, oh, we want more of this, we want more of this. So I did another one, and we want another one. And it just developed into, it literally didn't have a name. It was just us posting our videos on social media. And then it became, Baking with the Rey Sisters.
Is it the girl that's you dance with?
Yes, that's my little sister, yeah. So we had Baking with the Reys, and I'm so excited. We've just been given a full production budget. It's turning into a whole production.
Wow, nice.
A proper broadcasting. Hey, can you be my brother? But what's most exciting about it is that we are creating employment for 20 people through the production of Baking with the Reys, which I'm really excited about. And it's a mixture of people with like some disabilities, and it's just like I'm really excited that we as sisters, especially me at such a young age, is able to create other opportunities for other people. Because in our house, if you can walk, you can work.
Yeah.
That's like what my mom has always said. I mean, I signed my first deal when I was 13. So you can walk, you can work in our house. So, but she loves it. And now we're developing something called Driving with the Reys, because we had the trending video. When you say I never trained it, but I trained it with my sister for the Kas'lam.
I'm talking about the negative trends.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, we've trained it positively. Yeah. So we're busy developing a web series called Driving with the Reys as well, which we're really excited about, in partnership with various car brands, which is dope.
You can't say the name here.
I can't say it here. Exactly.
If you haven't paid us.
So I'm just gonna say car
you
brand.
You can say the name and just drop a few.
So it's been exciting to develop other things and expand my production company.
Yeah. Before we dive in, I just wanna confirm with my DOP. Are we still good with the rain and everything?
Oh, good.
Let's go.
The rain is a blessing. I feel like you get the bad questions.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no, it's bad.
He attracts them.
Oh no, the way he's reading it, it's like he just wants to make sure it's that bad that he has to double read it.
No, I'm asking myself who could ask such a question.
Oh no.
Okay, this one says women killing the game.
Oh, I think it's badly phrased. Yeah.
Yeah. Women killing the game. Do you think men should step back?
I don't think men should step back. I think there's enough room for everyone. What I think is that what we need to do is provide women with the same support that we provide our male counterparts in the music industry. I don't think it's a matter of male artists stepping back. I think it's about the industry stepping up. There's a difference. So there is enough room in the industry for everyone. And that's why I get so irritated when I hear stories like gatekeeping and all this, because I just think it's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
When artists grow, when an industry grows, it just opens up for more people. So I don't think that male artists need to step back. What I think we need to do is stop being condescending to female artists. People always ask me how did it feel to be the first woman to win a SAMA in 20 years? It felt awful when I found out. Because I was like, it's not like we haven't had amazing female artists with amazing songs in 20 years. What we haven't had is the support from record labels, from radio, from the streets, from people, giving them the same amount of support that they give to the male counterparts. And that's where the issue lies, I think, not in artists specifically.
Another thing is that back in the days, you'll find that the female artists that were there, they were mainly managed by another man, like a man kind of owned
or a DJ
or a DJ was, so it was still men controlling.
Other men in his catalog as well, so he's just taking care of other men as well.
Exactly. And I think
social media had a huge contribution towards women upliftment.
Definitely. The thing with social media is always give and take. I think that social media is a great place to spread positive ideology, but it also spreads negative ideology. You know, with everything, there's always a counterpart. With every good, there's always a bad counterpart. So I think we're having more awareness, we're having more conversations about what it means to be a female artist, what we need as female artists to grow, to develop, to grow the industry as female artists. But there's so much more backlash that comes with that as well.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to give and take, and you just have to, I think, use it to our benefit rather than to our detriment. And that's why I say as well, like, with the whole I keep going back to the trending thing, because I think it's an important discussion to have now.
Yeah.
Is that for me as a woman, you trend for negative things a lot more quickly than you'll trend for positive things as a female.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your skirt's too short. Oh, you're now,
Yeah,
like
trending.
all the little things.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's important for me to create positive imagery around being a strong female in the industry.
Yeah.
And just owning my power as an artist.
Yeah. I want to take you back a bit. I mean, you did mention that you broke out in the industry when you were 13.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that means you got an opportunity to learn a lot of things as you learned at an early age.
Yeah.
Hence, you own your label right now at a young age. But, I mean, when you think about it, would you say is it wise for someone to break out that young, or would you want to give them time?
I think there's pros and cons of everything. I think if I were to go back and do it again, I want to say I wouldn't do it again, but I probably would.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. The thing is, like, I got to 21 and I knew things about the industry that people who now decide they want to enter the industry still had to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I'd already forgotten those things. I'd moved on to the next. But it was a lot more difficult to learn those things at 13, 14. You don't have the emotional capabilities of an adult. So the L's hit a lot harder when you're younger. And you take it a lot more personal when you're younger, whereas when you're an adult, you're able to shrug it off and, just put it up to, okay, it's the lessons of life.
Yeah.
So I think that it was really difficult, but I think it also made me really strong. From a young age, I was having to stand up to producers in studio and stand up for myself and what I believed in. And I think it's made me the artist I am now. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't do it again. But if a young 13-year-old came to me and said, I really want to get into the music industry right now, I told them to finish school. I tell them to spend these years learning about the business of the music industry, honing their craft, and getting ready, and then starting like when they finish school. That's what I would recommend.
Yes, I actually think I would agree with you as well. Tiger story.
So when
This
you
is
were
the last one.
when you were breaking into the industry at 13, was it still for music?
Yeah, so it was, I signed my first deal with with Sony ATV Publishing, and even to this day, I'm the youngest person to sign internationally across the world.
Hey, you're
at
breaking
13.
records.
We tried. But it was for songwriting, so they basically wanted me to ghostwrite for other people. And I started a little bit, I submitted songs, and some of the stuff was picked up internationally, but it was quite daunting for me to write music for other people at that age.
Yeah.
And then once I was in the industry and I started learning more about what it means to be an artist and all of that, I was like, okay, cool, I actually think I want to be an artist, not just a ghostwriter.
Can you name a few names?
No, they were not like big artists.
Ghostwriter.
Yeah. So you have to kind of keep up. But one of the
Yeah.
biggest artists I think songs were submitted to was Asa.
Okay.
She was very big. She did Mr. Jailer back in the day.
Yeah.
And there were a few songs that were submitted from her album. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, who's writing this bad luck? Would you ever consider, what the hell is this? Hey, I know this is your writing.
Oh, would you ever consider retirement, and when?
Oh, retirement.
Retirement.
Really, that's all.
Definitely. I don't want to be a 50-year-old trying to do the whole show on stage. Like, if we're being honest, like, I don't want to be doing that. But it doesn't mean, like, when you say retirement, I don't think I would ever retire, like sit back and do nothing. I think I would just evolve into something different, evolve into a different aspect of my career, maybe step into more of a businesswoman side of things, running the production company, maybe helping and facilitating other artists' careers. But I don't think I'd ever retire and be able to step back. That's not the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
But definitely, step back from like performing and gigging every weekend and all of that. Definitely, I couldn't do this. Like, also, like, I'm a woman. If I want to have kids, I can't be there. Like, so I do have to make sure that
You're
I have.
just doing it.
But I mean, like, she didn't really do it. You know, she wasn't like on stage, like. So I think, like, definitely, I just want to grow the business, and as I get older, maybe like my late 30s, start stepping into a different space of my career, but not necessarily stepping out and stepping back. Yeah.
One last question quickly. So what like since you have ambitions of being like boss lady, and well, you are, but you know, just going higher, what business would you consider going in? I mean, seeing the boities and the bonangs going into alcohol and perfumes and all this other stuff. Are you doing something, or are you thinking of doing something on that level? Or
at the moment, my biggest focus is the production company, especially with the new productions that are coming up now, and being able to turn that into a proper business that employs people, and, you know, like I said earlier. So I would say that's my biggest focus at the moment, is my production company and producing sort of online web series, and then for broadcast as well, making careers for broadcast. So I'd say at the moment, that's where my ambitions are lying. Maybe, you know, as I achieve that, there'll be new things that come up, and I'll set new goals. But for now, I think that's where I don't think I'm not like the influencer alcohol perfume type. So I think for me it would be more running it, something like that.
That's where you make the most money.
It is, I think, and also just like I'm very happy being a silent killer. You know, like the behind
ninja.
the scenes, exactly.
The ninja. That's a nice term.
Oh yeah, I'm dropping the last one. I want you to see it so you don't think I'm making it up.
Oh, no.
So, Maps or Caesar?
This is so awkward because my friends dated one of them.
Oh, and that's the one you want. Okay.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I don't find the other one attractive. So it's like.
Okay, so.
But now you dug yourself a hole.
This is horrible. They're both attractive.
One of them's got a farm, and the other one has got
a restaurant.
But to be honest, they're not really my type. Like, if I'm being very honest, they're very. I could admire them, but I just want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear that they're not my type.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying.
okay.
No, guys, I'm joking. I think probably Maps. I think Maps.
I call
Caesar
that
is
one.
too controversial.
Yeah, he's always on Twitter.
Yeah, he's like a young Kanye.
With someone?
Just going left field on his farm these days.
Yeah, see, like I said, I don't like beef, so I don't want to be dragged into any. So that for that reason, I choose Maps.
Yeah, because he's got the body too.
And so does
Caesar, I think, but he just seems like a nice guy. You know?
Sorry to the friend. This is the one.
if Maps is the one.
Yeah, sorry to the friend.
And I'm not saying anything.
Now, before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to pass on to your fans? I mean, going forward, what can we expect? I mean, I know we got the EP coming up. We got the baking show coming up as well. What more can we expect?
I think just like I said, like a lot of music, some cool collaborations, growing the Holly Rey brand to something else. I've got really cool brand partnerships coming up this year, a really nice alcohol brand that I'm really excited about, that just really fits me. I've done other partnerships before, but I really feel like this is really exciting for me because it really is, it's me, and I can't wait to announce that. It's going to be really cool. And then just I want to say thank you to everyone. Like, I know it's been such a tough time, but like, just to get the support from everyone has been really great, especially during lockdown. Like, you always hear fans saying like, your music gets me through, but I don't think fans realize how much they get us through as artists, and like how much they feed our creativity and help us when we're at our lowest point. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Mr. Bobo M.
You see, I'm scared of your questions. You see, because
there's another question.
No. Thing is, I'm someone who's very experimental. So
that's what she said.
No, but I'm thinking, if I was a music executive producer, I would experiment a lot with the Holly Rey brand, especially with your versatility. You can't be boxed musically, so I would probably consider a song with DJ Leg. I would consider a song with Kabza. I would consider a song with quite a lot of people that would shock a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, is there something like that coming up?
I don't know if there's any collaborations that would shock people that are coming up, but I'm definitely open to that. I love collaborating, especially outside of my comfort zone, because I believe that the collaboration process is where you grow the most as an artist. You learn from other people's sort of ways of doing things. So I don't, like, off the top of my head, I don't think any of the collaborations that are coming out would shock anyone, but I'm open to doing collaborations like that.
All right.
Yeah, Mr. Tiger Store.
I don't understand what's going on. What are you calling
your last question, my man?
No, I don't have any questions, man. I just
The last comment.
He's just
the last comment. No, like, we love your music and we just can't wait for what you've got to offer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, people, Spend Your Time by Holly Rey is out. Go out there and check it out. All in your digital music streaming and platforms. It's been your boy T Reps with Bobo M, the Tiger Story. Pleasure to have Holly Rey. It's been Kas'lam Live by Fuetu. Don't forget to subscribe to Kas'lam TV. Yeah, thank you for joining in. Siyabonga. We out. Ahoy.
Can you see the demo bow? As I'm a boot, job, I'm rapping on my bow. We on a tippy toes and then nigga knew it now. Was this is fine, and I'm trying to check it out. Must be a player knows, can you see the demo bow? As I'm a boot, job, I'm rapping on my bow. We on a tippy toes and then nigga knew it now. Was this is fine, and I'm trying to check it out. Shame, I don't miss skepsis. Like no one, my cause the saying is sex self. Me and big headed.